The final speaker for the Zooming for Roses, the 2021 Northern California, Nevada, Hawaii District Virtual Conference is Diane Sommers, the current president of the American Rose Society. Diane will provide insight to her goals during her term as president. Diane has signed a speaker consent form for the Sierra Foothill Rose Society.
ARS president. I asked Diane to come in as she was going to be ARS president. I thought it'd be nice to have her come on and kind of talk to us about some of her plans as president of ARS.
Thank you very much, Gary, and really appreciate the invitation to join your event. And it really has been pretty outstanding. I'm sorry I didn't get to see the whole thing. Putting something like this on isn't always the easiest, so you seem to have mastered it, and I'm sure that you can be helpful to a lot of other people that are going down this path as well. You know, talking to Sue Bennett back in June, Sue thought it might be nice if I could just share a few minutes with you to talk about what's happening at the ARS, some priorities are. Of course, we always start with the Ars Mission Statement because everything that we do at the American Rose Society should really be focused on the success of our mission. And we try to do that as much as we possibly can. And hopefully you're going to see some of the activities that are starting to take place will truly be in support of our mission. From a priority perspective, number one priority is supporting our local rose societies. The success of the American Rose Society is truly, I believe, dependent on the success of our local rose societies. And it's really through our local rose societies that we're able to deliver, again, to the mission of the American Rose Society. As part of that, we also need to work on expanding our rose educational opportunities for all gardeners. You know, it was only in spring of 2020 that we started our first webinar. Think about that. It wasn't even 2 years ago. And look how far we've come. We've been putting on a number of CR classes and training in schools. We've had a few others. I don't know if some of you have been able to attend some of the garden class or seminars that we've had. One that I remember most from last spring was with Michael Marianne, and he was in England at the time going through some of the David Austin roses. It was really a fabulous presentation and something quite new for our members to actually experience. We want to go further than that at this point, though, and start to provide more educational opportunities for all rose gardeners. And of course, we need to grow visibility of our local rose societies and the American Rose Society. It is really by expanding that visibility that people become aware of us, and we have the opportunity to share our knowledge about growing roses. So when you look quickly at this slide, you're not going to see much about roses. And that's because these pictures are from other horticultural organizations and some of the things that they're doing today. And my guess is that many of you are members of other horticultural organizations. And so you might be experiencing some of these great features and benefits of being a member. And I would ask that as you experience those and you think they're worthwhile, that you continue to share those within the American Rose Society so that we can consider whether or not that's truly an option for us to follow down that same path. Again, we've started doing webinars in 2020, but many organizations have been doing them far longer than we have. We actually have a bit of catching up to do, I'd like to say. We have the American Horticulture Society that not only has a hard copy of their magazine, but all of their editions are online. So when you become a member, you can look at the past magazines. And how great is that as a resource? Is that something that we could provide? Same thing with a lot of the wonderful articles and programs that all of our Rose members are putting on. Where are they? They're not accessible to people. So one of the things that we need to look at is how can we make this kind of information easily accessible to our members and to the communities in which we live and support gardening. Here's a hydrangea webinar I attended. It's something new that I'm trying to grow, trying to expand my horizons over roses, right? And a day later, they came back to me with this wonderful summary, all these different links to help me understand more about growing hydrangeas, plus places where I could go to buy them, etc. So again, they're taking that initial experience and they're moving it forward. There's things like garden markets. There's many, again, singularly beautiful roses. This is something I found on our ARS website, but you probably have to search pretty far to try to find it. And finally, the homepage is something that we're working on right now. We're in the middle of a membership database conversion. And ours will look maybe something like this someday. And what that will be is that just like your Amazon account, you can go in and change your contact information, your email address, should it change. You'll be able to go on and see how many credits you have for your CR accreditation or your judging accreditation, etc. And you'll be able, again, to track that information for your own membership and utilize that link to go into the many programs and benefits that we'll be expanding to in the future. Here's a few new faces that I'd like to introduce to you. This doesn't happen through the American Rose Society with a lot of help from our volunteer membership. And some of you have really participated and have been active committee chairs and committee members, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm really excited about Eileen Cook joining us as the first committee chair for the Local Rose Society Advisory Committee. This is a brand new committee. It is made up of presidents and past presidents of local rose societies. Again, as we look to how can we support our local rose societies, one of the key things we can do is provide a forum for rose society presidents to interact with the successes and work together on some of the challenges that we're all experiencing. We had a meeting, it was about 2-3 weeks ago. They had 16 of the 18 districts represented. It was a 3-hour meeting, but a lot of great ideas were shared. They're in the process of looking to prioritize a lot of those activities. And we'll be moving, they're already moving pretty quickly on some of those next steps, if you will. I would like to mention that one key step that they have is making sure that we all have good contact information. So as we try to build the relationship and the communication between the American Rose Society and our local rose societies, we got to know how to contact people. And we've kind of lost that. And so we've been trying to fix some of the paths to do that on. If you haven't heard about it, you can go online under Find a Local Rose Society, and you can update your officers and your website and things like that. Or you can contact Neil at rose.org. Neil's our membership director, and he can update that information for you. And that's really important because any of the opportunities that the American Rose Society may have for our local rose societies, we need to somehow communicate that and deliver that to you. And again, having that ability to interact, I think, is really, really important. So I expect a lot of cool things to come out of this committee, and it's really exciting and really just a pleasure to be part of. You may know Elena Williams. She's been very active at the American Rose Society, and she's taken on another new position, a new committee, I should say, with social media. And social media, as we start to utilize that more and more to expand visibility of our local rose societies and the American Rose Society, as well as opportunities related to education. So Elena and her committee are there as a resource to help us all understand how to do that and how to do that better. And several members of that committee have been very successful in growing membership through the use of social media. So it's not just, how do I populate a Facebook page, but exactly what do you put on that Facebook page, and the frequency of how you do it, and how can you get new members through Facebook, through Instagram, through various techniques and tools. We're also looking at doing more YouTube videos, which is something Gary and I chatted about. I think it was last spring, right, Gary? So it's been a while, but we do see a real opportunity to bring visibility to the American Rose Society and local rose societies through the use of tools like that. Mike and Anita Eckley are the new CR chairs, and they're going to be looking at, again, new programs to revitalize our CR program. I would like to say that we are having another online CR school, and that will be the Saturdays in February of 2022. They'll be at the same time they've been in the past, 1 o'clock. So please get that word out, and we'll be sending out more information on how to sign up, etc. But it's a great opportunity, again, for either to make sure that you're getting your CR credits, but also if you want to become a CR. Satish, I think many of you know Satish, who's just an expert exhibitor. He is joining the ARS as the chair of the Horticulture Exhibitor Committee. And they're working on a number of fun ideas to inspire people to exhibit. So it'll be interesting to see some of the new things that they're thinking of and how they're going to start to communicate those and implement those. So there'll be more coming along that line as well. But the committee's coming together, and I've seen a number of the ideas that they're sharing. And I think, again, it's going to be fun. So look forward to that. And then Norma Booty is the new National Arrangement Chair. Norma is actually from the North Central District. That's the district I'm in Wisconsin. And we have a very good crowd of exhibitors, arrangement exhibitors here. And I've asked her to see how we can help other districts do the same. You know, there's many districts nowadays, you might be surprised, that don't even have arrangements at their district shows anymore. So we need to help educate and people on how to do arrangements. I actually think it's one of the more fun things that I do with my roses. And hopefully it's one of those opportunities that we can continue to expand for the American Rose Society. You know, when you think about your membership and your enjoyment with the rose, everybody's experience and tastes are very different, right? But the beauty of it is that we can all come together with this very special flower and enjoy it in many different ways. So here's just a few of those committee chairs, and there's a lot more that you'll be hearing more about. But I encourage you to participate. They're reaching out to have new people join the committees. We are working very hard to make sure that there's representation from across the country, from across the districts. Get involved. I know that you'll have a lot of fun, and you'll get to meet a lot of fun rose people. And of course, membership continues to get visibility, and there's a lot of people that are interested in how do we grow membership. You know, it's not growing membership for membership's sake, but it's really being able to provide the benefits that people are looking for. So they want to participate and they want to belong, be it to your local Rose Society as well as the American Rose Society. Recent stats are, you know, there's over 200 million adults in the United States. With the pandemic, rose gardening or gardening in general has really been heightened. Truly, when you look at this opportunity, there's got to be an opportunity for us to grow our membership in our local societies as well as the ARS. We're going to be looking at this in a couple of different ways. We'll be celebrating 130 years with the American Rose Society next year. And so we'll be doing a lot more campaigning or celebrating, if you will, along those lines. And we'd like to have kind of a district opportunity that's really led by our district director. So we're going to be talking about that more at our district meeting, at our board meeting, on Wednesday. We're also reviewing the e-membership program that we have, and our regional directors are taking a look at that to say, are there opportunities to enhance that program so that it introduces more people that enjoy roses, introduces them to the American Rose Society, and so that helps us to share again roses, rose education, local rose society. So it's a real opportunity to grow membership, as well as the trial membership program. So don't forget about that. Every new member of your Rose Society can have a free 4-month trial to the American Rose Society. And so you can really market that as an advantage of joining your local Rose Society. We will be focusing more on online programming for all levels of expertise. We are working with Jim Spruill and Will Radler on putting together a program on hybridizing for next year. We are also looking at how to do some videos for the average rose grower, the beginning rose grower, if you will. And we have other segments that we're looking at as well. And finally, it's about building partnerships, not only partnerships between the American Rose Society and our local Rose Society, but also between, suppliers and vendors and hybridizers. And there's a lot of things that we can do together that will help all of us. So there's a lot more that we can do there, and we're looking forward to some of those opportunities in the next year or two. These are all roses, by the way, from my garden. Mango Blush, I don't think I saw that one in Bob's program because it's not a striped rose, but this is one of my favorite David Bang roses. And Easy on the Eyes, I think I saw that. Might have been in Bob's program a little bit, but you can get some incredible sprays on that bush. And finally, let's not forget about the Rose Garden in Shreveport, Louisiana. As you know, there's significant amount of construction going on there. We have we have gotten enough of our pledges that we can complete our 4 circles of our rose garden. So we're actually on the 4th circle from a construction perspective, and we'll be planting the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th circle in the springtime. It's going to look beautiful when it's done. And it already has become a much bigger attraction for the community. So that helps us all from a education perspective, but also from a revenue perspective. And I often get the question from people that aren't near Shreveport, like, why should I care? Well, one of the reasons you should care is because that garden helps support all of us. And so really in 2021, our net income forecast is $138,000. So that's revenue less expenses for the garden. Half of that is actually Christmas in Roseland, which is starting really, really soon. So you can see that the net income from the garden is contributing to the functions of the rest of the American Rose Society, which is supporting all of the members and the benefits that we provide. We most recently had the International Rose Trial just last weekend, and you heard Ping talking about that a little bit. So that was pretty cool. I was actually supposed to be there, but I got stuck in an airport for a full day on Thursday, never got out. My flights were canceled, and I never got to Shreveport this week. So I want to close by just saying thank you for all of you for everything that you do in support of your local Rose Society, your district, the American Rose Society, helping other gardeners learn how to grow roses. It's truly a beautiful flower, and it's something that we all enjoy. And every day that we share that beauty and that knowledge with others is truly a gift. So I want to thank you all for that. And speaking of gifts, if you haven't ordered your calendar for next year, you might want to try and do that soon. We're ahead in sales from last year. So sales are running really, really well this year. And it is a beautiful calendar. Hopefully you've seen those from the past, but you truly want to get your hands on this calendar.